Here we are again with another Motley Crue album review. Here's my shameless plug for the video. The best cheap beer on the fucking planet, I think. Believe me, I've tried a lot of them. Anyway, if you've ever tasted Milwaukee's Beast, you can't go wrong moving up to this shit. The champagne of beers. Ooh. And this, my friends, of course, is the champagne of Motley Crue review videos, right? At least I'm going to call it that for now. Okay, so we have talked about number 8, Theater of Pain. Number 7, Generation Swine. And number 6, Dr. Feelgood. What? Anyway, today it's time to talk about number 5, Saints of Los Angeles. Oh my. So I told you that my list had changed since I posted that Motley Crue album ranking video a little over a year ago. I took a look after I finished shooting the Dr. Feelgood video, and in fact, the list has changed quite a little bit. I had Dr. Feelgood at number 5 originally, and it's now gone to number 6, so it slipped a little bit for me. As has Saints of Los Angeles, which was originally in the number 3 spot on my list, and now comes in at number 5. So let's talk about that. Now, spoiler alert, it's not because Saints of Los Angeles has actually slipped as much as because other albums have had a bit of a resurgence in my heart for late. But we'll get to that when the time comes. For now, Saints of Los Angeles was released in June of 2008. Interesting album for several reasons. First, the big problem I see a lot of people having with this album, it's a Motley album. It has all 4 of the original guys on it. It sounds great. The playing is great. It's heavy, intense, but people don't seem to like that it was produced and basically written almost entirely by the 6 a.m. guys. And I get that. I do. I understand it. I don't really know that I totally agree, though. I suppose it's a little like people's dislike of Psycho Circus by Kiss.
I played on Psycho Circus. She played on Psycho Circus.
Life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and play on a Kiss album every once in a while, you could be Ace Frehley or Peter Criss.
Based on the fact that Ace and Peter really only play on one song. And the rest of the album was a bunch of fucking lies told to us by Paul and Gene, as usual, to make us all think it was one big happy experience in the studio with Ace and Peter and the band was back and wow. And really, it was just a bunch of guys hired and paid a salary to come in and record that shit and sound like Ace and Peter as much as they could. Well, that's not the case with this album, but the writing was done by Nicky and the 6 a.m. guys. All I know is, and I like 6 a.m. okay, I don't necessarily love everything, but I like it. But when I put the album on, this album on, and I push play, I'm not thinking about, oh, who wrote this? Who wrote that? Why didn't Mick or Vince or Tommy write this or that with Nikki? All I know is what comes out my speakers sounds good. It sounds exactly like I wanted my Motley Crue album to sound when this came out. I love it. In fact, to an extent, I kind of consider it a masterpiece. For 2008 Motley Crue, this is a masterpiece. Doesn't mean I love everything on it. Spoiler, I like everything on it, but there's a lot here to love. And that doesn't depend on who wrote it. Nikki was involved, so to me, it's still Motley Crue. This is the last Motley Crue studio album as far as we know at this point. Like I said, it came out in 2008. That's a long time ago. This is the only album to date that has the band's original lineup of Nikki, Mick, Tommy, and Vince since 1997's Generation Swine. Vince was gone for the 94 album, of course, and Tommy was gone for 2000's New Tattoo. Saints of Los Angeles debuted at number 4 on the Billboard charts, selling 100,000 copies in the first week, which is pretty great for 2008. Considering a lot of people had sort of stopped buying physical media by that point. Fuck digital downloads. Fuck them in their fucking ass. The title track was the first single. It was Motley Crue's second highest charting single in the US mainstream rock charts, peaking at number 5. There were 2 other singles, Motherfucker of the Year and White Trash Circus, which did less and less well as they came out. White Trash Circus, by the way, really? That was a single from this album? Seems like a weird choice to me. I don't know about that choice. I think I would have just released the title track and called it good, honestly. In 2008's music market, there's a couple of other really great tracks on this album they could have considered for singles and videos, though. But reviews of the album are mixed at best. For whatever reason, I see a lot of people not liking this album. For example, Metacritic, whoever that is, gives the album a rating of 54 out of 100. AllMusic gives it 3 out of 5 stars. Billboard gave it a favorable review. The LA Times gave it 1.5 out of 5 stars. Music Review gave it 9 out of 10. Now, I have no idea what that is, gave it 1 out of 5 stars. Pop Matters, I'm just going to be honest, I've never heard of most of these. I have no idea what these are, but they've got a couple of different critics who reviewed the album. Green, with an E, gave it 5 out of 10, and Williams gave it 7 out of 10. Somebody or something called Q, I guess obviously from Star Trek The Next Generation, gave it 2 out of 5 stars. Damn it, Q! Sputnik Music, I'm going to assume that's Russian, gave it 3 out of 5. Uncut gave it 2 out of 5. Who the fuck are you people? Rolling Stone, we all know who that is, gave the album 3 out of 5 stars, which is the surest sign, as always, that it is probably a great fucking album. Go out and buy it now. If Rolling Stone's not crazy about it, fabulous stuff. Because what the hell do they know? Dipshits. Anyway, in his review for AllMusic, critic reviewer James Christopher Monger wrote, Motley Crue have been trumpeting their hedonism for so long and so loudly that it's become more of a caricature than a way of life. And while Saints of Los Angeles is the best thing they've laid to tape since their codpiece heydays, it's more of a walk down memory lane, Sunset Strip than a legitimate call to arms. Okay, well, that's because it was intended as a sort of soundtrack to the movie The Dirt, James. It was supposed to talk about the band's career, song by song, from the early days in Hollywood up through some of the more significant events of that career. Brian Tiedemann, I guess that's how you pronounce this, of Billboard said, while not every song is a winner, the title track and Sleaze anthem This Ain't a Love Song are standouts. Okay, thanks guys. If you're basing whether or not to buy a Motley Crue product on what these guys say, just don't bother. Just go away and listen to Rick Astley and Bryan Adams and leave the Motley Crue to people who have time to get Motley Crue. The album was produced by singer James Michael of 6 a.m., which kind of took me aback a little bit. He did production, engineering, and mixing on the album, as well as writing, of course. Michael and 6 a.m. guitarist DJ Ashba are involved in writing almost every song with Nicky. Frequent Aerosmith collaborator Marty Fredrickson also was heavily involved with the songwriting process. And am I crazy about the sort of cross-pollination between Nicky's solo band side project thing and Motley Crue? No, I'm probably not thrilled about it, but whatever. Like I said, the album sounds great. And speaking of the album, here it is. Very pumped when I found the vinyl for this one. Excited to have it. I love it. I feel like it definitely belongs in the Motley catalog, and I am proud of it. I like that they released this album very much. In case you don't have the vinyl, the inner sleeve, lyrics, naked chicks who can spell initials, black vinyl, which I love and sort of prefer, though I don't mind colored vinyl at all. So the album, I've always wondered, if you look at the track listing, the title track, Saints of Los Angeles, always says on every version I've ever seen of the CD or album or anything, gang vocal. I'm always looking at that and thinking, well, sure, aren't they all gang vocal? Is there a version that's not gang vocal? Because I've never seen one. They say, though, that the single version of Saints of Los Angeles does not include the backing vocals or the introduction from the gang vocal version. But I don't know how you ever get to hear that version. I have no idea. I would love to, just out of curiosity. The title track was nominated for a Grammy Award for Best Hard Rock Performance, but lost. It was Motley Crue's third nomination, Their previous nominations being for Dr. Feelgood and Kickstart My Heart saw losses to Living Color. I couldn't find who Saints of Los Angeles lost to in my research. I'm sure it was probably some shitty fucking alternative band or Jethro Tull. Jethro Tull always wins this shit, even though like the same 12 people actually listen to Jethro Tull and have since the mid 80s. I think it's worth mentioning, which I only realized last night, that this album came out less than a year before Kiss's Sonic Explosive Diarrhea album. How funny is that? Kiss must have heard this at some point, right? I mean, it's nice that we got Modern Day Delilah from that album, but the rest of that platter of excrement, really? Way to barely try to compete, guys. Way to almost totally mail it in. Yeah, too hot and too cold, sure. Okay, so let's talk about the tracks. So for me, personally, this album comes in above Dr. Feelgood by this much, but it does. And again, this is why I do the album rankings with a song-by-song rating, and then I do the math to figure out what the average is. If I didn't do it that way, it might not be an honest or accurate answer because, you know, you think of an album and you're like, oh yeah, that's a great album. That album is awesome. But when you get right down to it, was it? Or was 3/5 of it? And then the rest was a bunch of filler that you forgive because the main tracks are so great. With Saints of Los Angeles, it can beat an album like Feel Good in my ranking because some of the tracks are really great, but the other tracks are at least really consistent. And in my opinion, none of them are as bad as Without You and Time for Change. On the other hand, Saints of Los Angeles was number 3 in my original Motley Crue album ranking. And I'll be honest, I'm really disappointed that it slipped 2 spots when I took it a track at a time, but it did. Sometimes this rating system doesn't accomplish what I want it to in my heart. And that's why I feel it's probably a pretty damn good system for what I'm trying to do here. Is it perfect? Nothing's perfect. I don't agree with that 100%, but I think it works. Okay, again, not counting track 1 on this album, LAMF. It's an intro, not a song. It's really cool. I dig it. I'm glad it's there, but I'm not going to rate it. So, track 2, Face Down in the Dirt. Five stars. I dig it. Awesome. Very Motley Crue attitude. The album overall sounds really great to me. I love this album. I really do. Motley Crue fans, we needed this album. It had been 8 years since New Tattoo, and I was definitely ready for another album that wasn't just another greatest hits. Come on, guys. Jeez. But really, I, for one, needed this band to finish up strong with all four original guys. And I think with this album, they did. Track 3, What's It Gonna Take?
We were drinking dinner on the Sunset Strip. The girl's doing powder, got a little on her lip. It's just another night. Man,
Okay, so I love what the track is saying. I love what it's about. I love the fond memories of the early days in Hollywood and everything. I'm not crazy about the song. Me and my buddy Birch have talked about this album more than a few times, and we both love it, and we both have agreed from day one the album doesn't really kick in until track 5 for us, despite the opener. I love Face Down in the Dirt, like I said, but then I kind of get distracted for the next few tracks until Saints of Los Angeles starts. Once that happens, the speakers have my full attention. But I give What's It Gonna Take 3 stars. It's fun. I don't really skip it, but it's also not a highlight for me. Same for track 4, Down at the Whiskey. Three stars. I like the song. I don't love the song. I don't hate the song. I like the song. I love the storytelling. The album is basically a Motley Crue concept album. Like I said, it was intended to be a soundtrack to The Dirt. It's an audio telling of The Dirt. The movie, as we all know, ran into multiple delays. So the album came out way ahead of it, and lucky us. We then got The Dirt and a few other tunes in addition to these to listen to. You could not know the album's connection to the movie at all and still have the same listening experience, I think. But either way, the storytelling and reflection is really fun for fans who care about that stuff. If you do know that stuff, maybe it gives you a little extra something to think about while you listen. And that's fun. Sometimes the songs are a little less than spectacular. So be it. Track 5, Saints of Los Angeles. Stars. This is where shit starts to get real. But bam, I love this track. If you don't think this is a Motley Crue track, you've lost your fucking mind. Love this track. Love the video too. In fact, I love all the imaging on this album. The guys look fantastic. I love the color scheme and artwork. I'm not terribly crazy about the Saints of Los Angeles chicks. I would have rather had a band photo maybe, but whatever. It's fine. This riff is awesome. Such a heavy mix, too. Track 6. Officially MF of the Year. Five stars. Love it. Love the attitude. Mixed guitar on this whole album is fantastic. He really shines on Saints of Los Angeles, as all the guys do. Another interesting little tidbit. My first experience with this album was that I had no idea it was coming out. As usual, I walked into Walmart, went straight to the electronics section like I always do, grabbed it up and immediately bought it. Unfortunately, I did not know that Walmart was only selling the clean version. Just put a sticker on the album and trust us to make our own decisions. Don't sell it to kids. I wasn't a kid in 2008. Are you kidding? But stop editing shit, you bunch of freaking Puritans. This is another one I'm really glad they did a video for. I like the video. It's fun. Great tune. So, boom. Title track, MF of the Year. Great 1-2 punch. But it's actually a weird sort of 1-2-3 punch, because track 7, The Animal in Me.
Slowly digging in. It kind of makes me wonder about the lovers that have been lying in my bed with their hands tied up. I knew it all along that it wasn't enough. 'Cause when I got a taste of you, I found something I can sink my teeth into. It's an ache that never heals.
Another 5 stars. 3 straight, right smack in the middle of the album. Really unusual as most albums go. And I just love this song. That's a great melody. Great song. Great recording. And that's a great vocal. Make fun all you want, people. But Vince can still sing. He just can't breathe. There's a difference, a big one. More about that in another video. Anyway, 5 stars for The Animal in Me. No doubt about it. Because it's a great song, yes, but also because it's a great vocal performance by Vince Neil. So suck it. Unfortunately, it's my last favorite track on the album for a while. Track 8, Welcome to the Machine.
Step right up and listen. Welcome to the show. Sign on the X to sell your soul.
4 stars. Still great stuff. I like listening to it. This album is so consistently beefy and heavy and mean for a Crue album. I really like the attitude and the recording. They just did a great job making the album. Track 9, Just Another Psycho. I gave this one 4 stars also. I don't like it as much as Welcome to the Machine, but I do like it a lot. Pretty cool tune. Not great, but pretty cool. Track 10, Chicks Equal Trouble. 3 stars. I like it. I really do. But it's not quite 4 stars worthy. Boy, if this album is supposed to sort of tell the story of the lives of these guys, did this one nail it? Same with the next track. This Ain't a Love Song.
I met her down in Maryland's grave, looking like an Amsterdam slave, drinking like a
3 stars. It's a good tune, but that's as high as I can go because it's just sort of whatever. They say the F word in it several times. Yay. Some of these tracks are essential Motley Crue to me. And those are the 5-star songs. The 3-star songs on this album are songs that if we hadn't ever gotten, I might not have noticed. I don't know how much they'd be missed, in other words. If that even makes sense. Interesting, though, at least in my rum-filled haze, maybe plus beer, it suddenly occurs to me that if these songs, these 3-star songs on Saints of Los Angeles, had been on a few other Motley Crue albums, they might have scored higher because they're more enjoyable filler than some of the other filler we've gotten throughout the years. But more on that in the next video, I predict. Next up, White Trash Circus.
Well, I opened up a bottle and I fell out of bed. I couldn't find the floor until it hit me in the head.
Okay, and I already referred to this. This was the 3rd single from this album. I mean, it's fun. I like it, but really? You've got The Animal in Me and you released this instead? I gave it 3 stars. How about another track that I would have loved to have heard and seen a video for instead? Track 13, Going Out Swinging. And let me just pull this out, even though I have so much trouble getting it back in.
Just a gang of 4, got each other's back.
Yeah, man. Talk about a song where after I hear it, I want to run through a wall. Definitely my favorite song on the album. One of my favorite Motley Crue songs ever. 5 big, fat, juicy Motley stars here. My God, everything this song says is just awesome. This tells the story I want to hear of Motley Crue. This song explains everything I've always loved about this band. Whether it's true or not, I'd like to believe it's true, but if not, I still have it to listen with in the back of my mind every time I hear a Motley Crue song. These guys. And this track just, what a great track to be their last closing track on an album, on a full album in their career, if it is. I hope it's not. I'd love to get another Motley album. I thought everything on the Dirt soundtrack sounded great, Madonna covers aside, but I love the rest. I've always enjoyed their extra tracks that weren't actually on full-length studio albums, but maybe came as bonus tracks on greatest hits or movie soundtracks or whatever. And I am going to talk about those. I think I've decided I'm going to lump all those together and consider it an album, just to talk about it. I'm not sure I'll rank it, but I'll probably rate the songs. But it won't officially change the place of anything else on this list because it's not actually a Motley Crue album. I just want to talk about those songs, but it'll be just for fun and because I love some of them so much. I'll do that once we're finished with the official ranking videos, though. Anyway, so Face Down in the Dirt, Saints of Los Angeles, Motherfucker of the Year, Animal in Me, and Going Out Swinging all get 5 stars. That's how this album beats out Dr. Feelgood, which only got 3 5-star songs. But this got a lot of 3-star songs also, and a couple of 4 stars. Officially, Dr. Feelgood finished with 3.9 stars overall for the entire album. Saints of Los Angeles beats it by 0.1 star. So Saints of Los Angeles gets 4 out of 5 total stars, meaning basically if they had ended the Dr. Feelgood album with Don't Go Away Mad, like they should have, instead of a 2-star song for me, like Time for Change, Dr. Feelgood would have killed and probably would have come in 3rd on this list. But hey, they didn't, so it doesn't. And that's my review. I absolutely am so grateful to have this as part of the catalog. If you were to ask me, just ask me on the street, I'm pretty positive I would tell you this is my 3rd or 4th favorite Motley album. Just like I did in my original Motley Crue album ranking a year ago. It's definitely one of my favorite Motley albums to actually listen to these days. Now, obviously, I haven't spent as much time with it as I have with their earlier albums, so that makes it a little easier, a little more palatable. But still, honestly, I don't know that if that weren't the case, it changes all that much. I love this Motley sound. I think it's fantastic. All right. Thanks, Hard Rockers. Thanks for tuning in. We're inching up close, oh so close to 400 subscribers here on the channel. I just went back and rewatched the Sonic Boom album review from the Kiss playlist. Just because in response to a comment somebody had made on one of these videos about that. And on that video, I was thanking people because we had 310 subscribers. It's now at 392. And that is so cool. If you have subscribed to the channel, thank you. Thank you so much. On that subject, I don't know that I've ever actually done this in a video before, but for anyone who might watch these videos who isn't subscribed, if you enjoy them, please do subscribe. It helps in so many ways. I'm not getting paid for any of this, and I don't expect to, and that's fine. I don't really, I mean, if I ever do, that'd be great. But that wasn't ever my goal, and it still isn't. But the more subscribers on the channel, the more things I can do. I can post polls and questionnaires and things like that on the channel, but not until I have 500 subscribers. Also, the more people subscribe, the higher circulation the videos get put into. So that would be great because it would allow for more interaction, hopefully, meaning more people might have things to say. And that's always been the goal of the channel, to make this a discussion. I don't want to do this in a vacuum. I already know my opinions. I want to tell you mine so I can hear yours. I think that can only be more fun. All right, again, thank you very much, everybody. I appreciate you being here. We'll see you soon with the next album on the list, which will be album number 4 out of 8 ranking-wise. Which one could that possibly be, though? Will you be surprised? Will you be like, yeah, I knew that was what was coming next? Let's find out. Take care, everybody.